The ancestors are telling us, we know where you are right now. We know you're tired. We know you're angry. We know you're depressed. We know this. And we know that the world is unbalanced, everyone. Well, it's time for another monthly tarot reading for the month of May. So I'm just going to pull the card out that I pulled back in January, and we're going to talk about that. I am recording this on April 25th. We're about 5-6 days away from May 1st. So this reading is for the month of May. May 1st being Bealtaine and also a full moon. So a lot going on the May 1st. When I pulled this card back in January for the month of May, I was thinking, okay, wait, maybe things are turning here. And well, I'm not going to tell you what the other cards are for the rest of the year right now, but all I can say is, so let's just go from there. So this card tends to be a positive card. It is the World card. Okay, I wrote a lot of notes on this card because, well, it's once again feels very complicated and almost contradictory to what is actually happening. So I need a swig of coffee. All right, so we have this person who is kind of androgynous. It looks like a woman, but traditionally is depicted as a hermaphrodite. So it's a balance of male and female energies. In our video, we talked about matriarchy and patriarchy. This card is saying that we need the balance of both, the matriarchy and the patriarchy, in order to be successful. These symbols up here, there's an angel representing spirit, eagle, air, lion, fire, and the bull, earth. Yeah, so there's like the 4 elements. Actually, maybe the eagle is water. The wreath represents victory after a long journey. She is holding 2 sticks, which is a balance between heaven and earth, or the spiritual realm and the physical realm. This is all very balanced card, and it's all very positive when balanced. When I looked at these symbols, I saw politics. I saw the eagle for America. I think the bull, isn't that like Russia? I just feel like they also represent political powers. I'm just going to look at my notes again because there's so much going through my head. I'm trying to make it make sense. It's the life cycle, it just goes round and round, the life cycle. It means wholeness. It means, so when you have everything balanced, you're whole. If you have your spiritual and your physical balanced, it's wholeness. If you have all the 4 elements in your physical and spiritual practice, you're balanced. If you know there is a life cycle to go through and you're at peace with that, you're balanced. If you're working with both male and female energies, you're balanced. And so the World card in this context of this reading, because it's more of a global reading, more of a social collective reading, this is where the world needs to get. And so, why did it show up in the month of May? Almost right in the middle of the reading. That it's showing this card in the middle of the reading for the year to remind us what it is to have a world that is functioning at its optimal level, at its balanced and whole level. It's a reminder. It's just a little pause in the reading to remind us, to reaffirm that this fight is for this. It's for a wholeness card. It's for the world card. So take the month of May as a breather month to meditate and contemplate the message here. The message here is, this is what the world should look like. Spiritual and physical working together, males and females working together. A dance. She's dancing. She's uniting the spiritual world to the physical world. She's having a moment of joy and bliss, and the four elements are there witnessing and being a part of this almost ritualistic, joyful dance. And it's funny because it wasn't until I started speaking this for this video, I had a completely different take on this 15 minutes ago. I am going to talk about that, but this is the message. This is the message that I just said, because I just feel Spirit just talked to me through this one in a very spontaneous way. But I will talk about what my original, not interpretation, but my original struggle with this card was. So when I went to do this video today, I was really conflicted. I've been thinking about it all week. I was like, how am I going to do this video? Because I have no concept of how this card applies to this month right now. Conducted a little experiment. And I asked people, when I say right now, the world, what comes to mind? And people are like, it's fucked up. It's basically people are losing their minds. People are riddled with anxiety. They're riddled with depression. The world is on fire. These are what I hear. And then when I was talking to people about this, I didn't talk about tarot because these are people that I generally don't talk about this stuff with. But then as we've talked further, we didn't want to leave the conversation on such a sour note. So I found that our instinct, our bodies, our mind, and even though these people aren't necessarily spiritual that I talk to, they will turn it around and say, but I am thankful for what I have. I'm better off than some people. You know, nature is beautiful. There's beauty in the world. There are good people in this world. And I just found that really interesting, how we just inherently want to balance our worldview. Because, well, the alternative is pretty fucking scary, isn't it? I mean, if we leave the conversation with it's fucked up, the world's on fire, we're all depressed, we're all anxious, we're all just waiting for a global war. We all feel defeated. We all feel angry. We don't care. We're losing our empathy. If we leave it at that, what are we to do? I am so glad I did this video because I just struggled really hard with this card because it was just so it's such a good card, and this is not where we're at, but this card is telling us, like, the spirit is telling us, I know. The ancestors are telling us, we know where you are right now. We know you're tired. We know you're angry. We know you're depressed. We know this. And we know that the world is unbalanced. But this is what you're fighting for. This is what the world can look like. It is possible for the world to look like this. May here in Nova Scotia, the weather tends to get better. It's long winters here. And man, this winter was long. And this spring is sucking, like, is just cold and gray. And I have not been able to go out and work in my garden. It's just been just shitty. May for here, it starts to get better weather wise, and it starts to look more positive just in the world in general because of my mood anyway. In the month of May starts to pick up from winter because the sun is shining, the temperatures are getting warmer. I can go outside more, be in nature more. I can work in my garden. I can see things growing. There's some color that shows up, with flowers, and the trees are budding, and it starts to get a little more green. But as you can see, it's not that right now. So I had written here, we're coming into the balance of the seasons, that winter was rough. This time of year starts to feel better. You start to get out of that funk of winter. I'm not there yet. I'm still in the funk of winter. I just cannot get out of this funk. And I know this is very weather dependent. I know once things turn around, it's slow this year. It's just reflecting the state of the world, this weather in Nova Scotia. And I've seen posts like in the States where they've had some snow, last week. And, it's just absolutely tiring. So focus on this. Just focus on the image of what the world will look like when it's balanced and whole. The four elements are working together. Like, just meditate on that. Just take a break this month and just meditate. Because when I was reading this uh, traditional interpretation, it was like a beautiful solution. Well, this would be the beautiful solution. Or to me, it's not necessarily a beautiful solution as it is a reaching the end goal, which is beautiful. However, the beautiful solution, I think, for this month is just to focus on this. That's it. It does say to become involved, but I think for this month, just take care of yourself. Take this break. Be involved in your own mental health, your own growth, your own spiritual growth, but while focusing on a global wholeness. It says contributing, being of service. You can't be of service if you're just not there mentally, if you just cannot, if you have no spoons left, You cannot do it. You see what I mean by how I struggled with this card? At first, I was focusing on that aspect. It's like, keep the good fight, be of service, contribute, be part of, of working towards a beautiful solution. But I will stick to my spontaneous interpretation of this card and will say to just meditate, focus on yourself, contribute to yourself, contribute to your little corner of the world, mentally, spiritually, physically. Meditate on the end goal, the beautiful end goal. A key word here that ties everything together for me, and that is, it says examine, approach. And I think that's what this month is. It's time to just examine our approach, because all up until January, February, March, April, it was all about doing the research, fighting for justice. There was the devil card, just being aware of oppression. It was so like, it's so heavy. Just take a break, examine our approach, focus on the beautiful end goal, and that's it for the month of May. Okay, so just be with it this month. Oh, another thing it says here in my notes, it says using your gifts or talents. Well, this month, just use your gifts or talents for what brings you joy, what brings you up to the point of just doing a joyful little dance. Which, I just had this thought about a little spiritual ritual that I have written down in my grimoire here for Bealtaine, or Beltane, some people say, but Bealtaine is the Irish pronunciation for Beltane. I have a little ritual about doing a little dance for Bealtaine. And I think I might do a video for my little Bealtaine rituals and spells, and I'll post that in a show and tell. But that's what this just reminded me of. And it's May. It's for the month of May, so it all just kind of works together, you know. Wow, tarot cards are really, really cool. And they're really amazing. I'll do a video for Bealtaine. Maybe Susie can join me for a little ritual. I don't know. If not, it'll just be me, hopefully in my fairy wood, doing a little ritual and doing some spells and other things. And maybe I'll show you my grimoire and what I write in there for the season of Bealtaine. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Take care of yourself.